Studio 31.
A.J. Gersh and Noel Ford, weekday mornings from 7 to 8 on Fox Illinois Sunrise. Live from our studios, you're watching Fox Illinois News at 9.
Tonight on Fox, teachers can save those sick days. A new bill to give school employees time off if they get COVID-19. In Springfield's a top cop prepares to say goodbye, what he plans to do next. Plus, falling temperatures are causing a headache at Springfield's only warming shelter. Fox Illinois News at 9 starts right now. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Marcella Bayeto. A lot of news to get to tonight, but first, we got to get a check of that forecast. We're expecting a significant cool down. Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke joining us live from home. Hi, Cheryl.
Hey, Marcella, it has been very chilly all day long, and it's about to get even colder, so brace yourselves for some of the coldest weather so far this season. Currently looking outside, we have clear skies currently for Springfield sitting at 12 degrees, but the winds are making it feel like -3. For most of us, it is bone-chilling cold. One of the colder spots is Bloomington, where it feels like 10 below zero, feels like 6 below for Champaign, feels like 2 below for Jacksonville. Come tomorrow morning, even worse though, wind chills for Wednesday morning, anywhere from 10 to 15 below zero. That will be dangerously cold, so really guard yourself against the possibility of frostbite. You don't want to be outside for any period of time for tomorrow. And even during the afternoon, it stays really bitterly cold. Coming up, though, I'll let you know when we finally get a break from this extreme cold. We'll have your full storm team forecast in just a bit.
Thanks, Cheryl. Now, that bitter cold that Cheryl was just talking about, bringing almost double the amount of people to the Springfield's overflow shelter. Our Devin Truby is working for you tonight to find out how they're handling all of this. Devin.
That's right. The below freezing temperatures also pushing the shelter to be open for 24 hours several days in the past week.
The typical capacity for the overflow shelter is 40. That's how many beds they have.
Borrowed cots from the National Guard, and we've increased, we've been seeing 65 to 70 people each night.
The shelter also increasing their hours to be open in the mornings. For the last week, they've been running 24 hours, or as long as the temperatures have been below freezing.
It's gotten colder, and some of the other agencies haven't been able to do things because of COVID outbreaks and things like that.
We asked if the shelter is concerned the additional hours will push them over the budget the city is providing. Captain Eddie with the Salvation Army says right now the focus is helping the people. Inner City Mission is also echoing the cold has caused an increase in calls for shelter.
We have a certain number of rooms, about 20, and those stay full pretty much 100% of the time. We turn around multiple families every day.
Director Payne says the number of requests they're getting is on par with a typical January, and places like the overflow shelter are taking some of the pressure off other organizations.
To continue to be open the additional times and to handle the increase in people coming to the shelter, they'd like to hire an additional 4 to 5 aides. Reporting in Springfield, I'm Devin Truby. Back to you.
Thanks, Devin, for that. The shelter also needs help with their meal service program, too. Currently, no one is signed up to sponsor their Thursday dinner. For more information and a link to sign up, head to our website. Capital City Watch tonight. Police Chief Kenny Winslow was honored at tonight's Committee of the Whole meeting for 27 years at the Springfield Police Department. He's retiring on Friday, and our Matt Roy spoke to Winslow tonight as he reflects on his career here in Springfield. Matt?
Well, Marcella, Winslow tells me that the greatest day of his life, besides his children being born or his wedding day, was the day he was sworn in to Springfield as a police officer. Winslow was an officer for 15 years, a commander for 3, and a chief for 9. He says the city and department have evolved so much through the years, whether it's implementing new technology, learning new ways to operate, or adopting things like the 10 shared principles. And the department has greatly improved since he became chief in 2013.
You finally come to that realization, that's a hard day. So wouldn't trade a day of it. Hasn't been perfect. Been a lot of tough decisions, a lot of ups and downs, which I think every position is, but wouldn't trade a moment.
Winslow says he couldn't have done this without the amazing men and women that work for SPD. And while he's retiring from the department, Winslow says he's staying involved in law enforcement. He says he's accepted a position to do some part-time consulting work for a local organization here in Springfield. In studio, I'm Matt Roy. Marcella, back to you.
Thanks, Matt, for that. A replacement for Winslow should be announced within a week. We're told it's been narrowed down to 2 internal candidates. Now, the city of Springfield kicked off their budget debates this week, giving a new look into how much money the municipal departments are asking for in the next fiscal year. While some departments are asking for less money, some are asking for millions of dollars of more. Our Jordan Elder is working for you with the breakdown.
If you combine all of the budget requests from the city agencies, it totals more than $536 million. City officials say they want to emphasize safety, infrastructure, and enhanced services from Public Works. And here are the departments that are asking for the most money this year. The Office of Budget and Management is requesting more than $117 million, followed by the Department of Public Works with $91 million, and the Police Department rounding out the top 3 with almost $58 million. Now, every department has different staffing levels and expenses, so here's a look at how these funding requests have changed since last year. The biggest increase is in the Department of Public Works with a 64% higher request. Most of that increase is in equipment and permanent improvements. The city plans to modernize roads, start work on the sewers, and put more money toward demolitions. The Police Department's request is 8% higher than last year. The Fire Department requesting a 0.91% increase. CWLP is actually requesting less money this year, leading to a 6.6% lower request, the only agency to decrease. There are 3 more budget hearings over the next 2 weeks before a public meeting on February 15th. Reporting in studio, I'm Jordan Elder. Back to you.
Thanks, Jordan, for breaking that all down for us. The Springfield Budget Director says the city will have a $17 million surplus from last year thanks to pandemic money, which he called a once-in-a-lifetime situation. In tonight's coronavirus update, Illinois state health officials are reporting more than 13,000 new cases of COVID-19 and 121 new deaths. Sangamon County reporting 373 new cases and 1 new death. Both the state and the county are at 61% fully vaccinated. Public school and higher education employees in Illinois may no longer need to use their own sick time for reasons related to COVID-19, but only if they're fully vaccinated. Our Jacob Emerson is working for you to explain how educators are responding to the governor's proposal.
That's right, and teachers' unions had asked for legislation allowing for all school professionals to receive paid time off for COVID-19 related reasons. But the governor vetoed that legislation and is now proposing that only vaccinated school employees receive that same paid time off. If you work for a public school district or higher education institution in Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker wants to give you paid time off for missing work due to COVID-19. The only catch? You must be fully vaccinated.
I think there's a lot of questions that everybody's going to have.
In Menard County, Greenview Superintendent Ryan Hefner says he wants to see the final legislation before taking an official stance. But he says most local school districts have already been offering paid leave for COVID-related reasons, including his. The proposal from Pritzker comes after his vetoing of a bill that would have officially extended paid time off to all public education employees regardless of vaccination status. Pritzker's new proposal provides paid leave for employees that must leave campus due to COVID-19 exposure or infection. It would also provide paid time off to take care of children excluded from school and restore any sick time that employees used to quarantine in the past. The Springfield Teachers Union declined to comment on the matter. The state's largest teachers unions announced their full support for the new proposal Monday.
The legislative branch spoke in a bipartisan way in support of all teachers, regardless of vaccination status.
For Matt Allen, he believes the move ignores the will of the General Assembly. Allen is not vaccinated and was terminated from his teaching position within the North Max School District last year after refusing to frequently test for COVID-19. He also doesn't believe the new proposal will encourage more vaccinations.
There's a number of them in that high school that are not vaccinated. I've spoken with a number of them, and they've said they will not get vaccinated.
Now here in Springfield, lawmakers will need to draft and pass that legislation for the governor's proposal. So far, that legislation has not yet been filed at the State House. Reporting in Springfield, I'm Jacob Emerson. We'll toss it back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jacob. The governor's proposed legislation will also protect wages for hourly school professionals that had to go without pay this year for a school closure or a move to remote learning. That includes custodians, bus drivers, food service employees, classroom assistants, and administrative staff. Now, should parents have a voice in their child's education? Join us for our town hall tomorrow. It'll touch on the debate over remote learning, mask mandate, and critical race theory. You can watch it at 6 from our website on foxillinois.com. On to some new details on last night's deadly wreck in Sangamon County. We now know Corey DeRosa was killed in the crash on Curran Road last night. He died when his car swerved off the road and rolled over. The 33-year-old died at Memorial Health. Now, according to deputies, DeRosa was driving on Curran Road just after 7 when the crash happened. The crash is still under investigation. In a crime alert tonight, jury selection for a Morgan County man accused of murder has started. Dustin Finlaw is accused of killing Robert Utter of Rushville. Utter's body was found in a car near Meridosha back in 2018. Now, Finlaw has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder. He's also choosing to represent himself during the trial. Jury selection has also started for the Illinois native accused of killing 4 people at a Tennessee Waffle House. Now, Travis Rinking's trial for the 2018 shooting was put on hold for months while he was treated for schizophrenia until a judge deemed him fit for a trial. He was pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of murder. He's facing life in prison. Opening statements are set to begin next week. Coming up, the future of Springfield's fire stations are up in the air as aldermen debate on which one's going to close. And a woman's day goes from bad to worse. The amazing rescue caught on camera.
That's not happening. And I will bring every single gun loaded and ready.
Plus, tempers flare at school board meetings across the country while they're facing pushback from parents over mask mandates.
And skies are clear, but it is bitterly cold. Coming up, I'll let you know just how low those temperatures will go and how long this Arctic blast will last. We've got your Storm Team forecast coming up in just a couple minutes.
Time for that question of the day. A new survey found Americans are doing this less frequently compared to the past 30 years. What could it be? Send us your guesses over on our Fox Illinois Facebook page. We'll be going through those and giving the answer later on in the show. Stay with us.
When winter storms hit, the News Channel 20 and Fox Illinois Storm Team is working for you.
We're tracking ice and snow and colder temperatures.
Big snowstorm right now moving through central Illinois.
A winter storm system packing 2 to 3 inches of snowfall will cause for dangerous roads.
The News Channel 20 and Fox Illinois Storm Team working for you.
Security Bank honored teachers on News Channel 20 and Fox Illinois. 10 Central Illinois teachers representing classroom achievement, school, and community involvement will be awarded a $500 grant and featured in newscasts November through February on News Channel 20 and Fox Illinois.
The National Desk, America's News Now.
Weekday mornings at 6 and 8 on Fox Illinois.
Welcome back. The winter break is over and the battle over masking in K-12 schools is heating back up. The National Desk's Angela Brown breaks down the debate from permanent mask mandates to mask options.
Tensions over school masking policies is heating up at school board meetings already this year. In Page County, Virginia, a mother stepping up to the podium. Her words getting her charged for making a threat.
No mask mandates. My children will not come to school on Monday with a mask on. All right? That's not happening. And I will bring every single gun loaded and ready.
The battle is moving from school board meetings to the courtroom. Lawsuits filed in Missouri, Virginia over masking policies. And now, a new fight in Oregon.
Don't want a mandate.
The health authority is proposing making masking permanent in schools. But health officials say it would not be in place forever and would be rescinded once it is deemed no longer necessary. The move is so the state does not have to renew it every 180 days. But some residents are not buying it.
My concern here, with all due respect, is at taking you at your word that you will continue to look at current evidence and context if you adopt a permanent rule that removes the forcing function of time.
A number of school districts retained mask mandates after winter break. Others are moving to mask optional. Several Virginia school districts are suing Governor Glenn Youngkin over his executive order making masking optional. Dr. Monica Gandhi says when it comes to masking, the vaccine is a game changer.
And now that children have access to the vaccines,
we don't even have to worry about a lot of increased transmission in schools that we were using masks for.
The CDC recommends universal indoor masking by all students ages 2 and older, staff, teachers, and visitors to K-12 schools, regardless of vaccination status. In Washington, I'm Angela Brown.
Thanks, Angela. Illinois adopted the CDC's mask guidance for schools last July. So far, multiple lawsuits have been filed, though, against school districts, ISB, IDPH, and Governor Pritzker over that mandate. Now, first, it was the U.S. Supreme Court. Then New York's top court did the same. They both knocked down COVID-related mandates. The U.S. Supreme Court blocked one of the White House's vaccine mandates earlier this month, while New York's court struck down the state's mask mandate.
For Head Start communities, ones that a provision that is requiring masks to keep students and keep communities safe. They're fighting against that. Why is that? I think that has more to do with politics than it does with public health.
The question really is not, are you pro or anti-vaccine? The question is, should our elected representatives in Congress make these important health policy decisions?
New York's governor is working to reverse her state's court's ruling, while a Texas judge blocked the Biden administration from enforcing its vaccine mandate on federal employees. For all of your national news in the morning, join us for the National Desk. This is every weekday from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. right here on Fox Illinois. It's a comprehensive coverage of news from around the nation, followed by Fox Illinois Sunrise at 7 a.m. For your local headlines, you can get that all delivered straight to your inboxes. Sign up now for that newsletter at foxillinois.com.
Now, your Storm Team weather with Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke.
You'll need your heavy-duty winter coats, a hat, scarf, and gloves, as our weather has been bitterly cold and it's about to get even colder overnight tonight. Looking outside right now, we have fair skies, clear weather. It's 12 degrees currently for Springfield, but with those winds factored in, it feels like it's 3 degrees below zero. Temperatures are really quite nippy outside, single digits and low teens, and they will continue to plunge and plummet for tonight. We'll eventually be bottoming out temperatures close to zero overnight tonight. Then looking ahead for tomorrow morning, as you're heading out the door, about 2 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then temperatures really struggling throughout the day. Highs will only be in the upper teens to lower 20s, and of course those winds making it feel a whole lot colder. Actually, by tomorrow morning, some of the coldest weather so far this season is going to be dangerously cold with wind chills anywhere from 10 to 15 below zero. And with wind chills that bad, it only takes about 20 to 30 minutes or so to get frostbite. So please don't be outside any longer than we have to be for tomorrow. Even during the afternoon, it stays miserably cold. And then luckily, though, by Thursday, temperatures finally easing up a little bit. We'll see temperatures back into the 30s by Thursday. And because it will be so cold, though, overnight tonight through Wednesday morning, wind chill advisories are out for places like Rantoul, Champaign, and Danville, mainly areas north of Interstate 74. Now, our latest satellite radar imagery showing quiet skies right now, but the bigger picture shows a storm system, another weather disturbance to our west that will be impacting our weather later on for Thursday. Tonight, though, clear skies all across the board. Looking at lots of sunshine, too, for Wednesday. By the time we get into Thursday, they'll look for increasing clouds. There could be a couple sprinkles, maybe some stray snow flurries on Thursday. No accumulations, though, are expected. Then we'll start to dry skies out again, though, for Friday. So our forecast for this evening, brutally cold down to zero. As we were mentioning, though, wind chills by tomorrow morning approaching 10 to 15 below zero. It is going to be very nasty. Highs only warming up to about 21 for tomorrow, and it stays pretty chilly the next few days. At least warming back into the 30s, though, briefly for Thursday, then back into the 20s on Friday. And the other big weather story, no significant storm system. So overall, not much snow coming our way, at least for the next 7 days.
Thanks, Cheryl. Don't forget to send us your weather photos by clicking See It, Send It in the Fox Illinois app, or you can do the same over on our website, foxillinois.com. We can give you a shout out right here on the show. Check out all the other viewer photos and videos we've got in anytime on our website. Coming up, the nation's largest retailer is dipping its toe into farming. We're going to have a look at the unique setup. Plus, an amazing rescue was caught on camera, showing the quick actions of a group trying to help a woman trapped under a vehicle. And in that question of the day, a new survey found Americans are doing this less frequently compared to the past 30 years. Some of your guys' guesses. We got going to the movies. That's what Kathy said. I can't even remember the last time I went to the movies. Getting married is a very popular answer. Andrew, Brad, and Bill sending all of that over. Send us your guesses over on our Fox Illinois Facebook page. We'll be right back with so much more. Stay with us.
Start off your day right. Wake up with News Channel 20 this morning. And
Good morning, America.
Looking for professional dental advice? Click Ask the Expert at newschannel20.com.
Ask the Expert, featuring advanced dental care of Springfield with Dr. Vandermolen and Dr. Neely.
Noel Ford, weekday mornings from 7 to 8 on Fox Illinois Sunrise.
Welcome back. Caught on camera tonight, police officers in Delaware saved a woman pinned under an SUV by lifting the vehicle off of her. Now, Newcastle County officials there say the 70-year-old was pinned after getting out of the vehicle before putting it in park. After a neighbor's attempt to use a jack failed, the rescuers used their combined strength to free the woman. She was treated at a local hospital for her injuries. Now, the FBI and officials in St. Louis are blowing up old weapons. It's all part of their Explosive Ordnance Recovery Week. Now, it's in an effort to safely remove and dispose of potentially dangerous military ordnances in that community. This is video right there of a Civil War cannonball being safely destroyed. Authorities say the effort isn't to prosecute anyone, just to keep people safe. Now, people in Sunnyvale, California are also avoiding bombs, but these are coming from a massive murder of crows that have taken over the town square there. The headache has been an issue for some time and has inspired many ideas to fend off the flock, like maybe using laser pointers and even faux crows, scarecrows. And teddy bears took over an ice rink right here, all in the name of charity. Of course, fans of the minor league hockey team, the Hershey Bears, tossed more than 52,000 stuffed animals on the ice Saturday night. It breaks the record of over 45,000 stuffed animals collected back in 2019. The toys, they're going to be all donated to different charitable organizations. Consumer news. We could soon be driving flying cars. The manufacturer of the air car says it received an experimental certificate of airworthiness from the Slovak Transport Authority. The car has completed more than 200 takeoffs and landings and 70 hours of flight testing. Now, the prototype has a 160 horsepower BMW engine that drives the propeller in the air, and after the touch of a button to fold up the wings, the wheels land on the ground. Some companies that use semiconductors are approaching a breaking point. Some are down to less than 5 days of inventory, according to the Commerce Department. Now, in 2019, companies had 8 times the amount of inventory they have now, and less demand too. It's especially tough though for those making cars or medical devices. The president is urging Congress to pass $52 billion for semiconductor production. Walmart is taking steps to go greener. The company announcing it's investing in indoor vertical farming. Partnering with agricultural startup called Plenty, indoor farming is designed to grow high-quality produce while using less water and land. Plenty says it uses plant towers, LED lighting, and robots to plant, feed, and harvest crops, delivering up to 350 times more food per acre than a regular farm. Still to come, pills to help fight COVID-19 are now available. You need to know before you ask your doctor for a dose.
When you look at the location, it's not ideal with regards to coverage, and it's an older firehouse.
And how a firehouse at the State Fairgrounds could be getting a new home. Plus, a live look over HSHS St. John's Hospital tonight. Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lumpke, she's going to bring us our weather forecast when we come back. Question of the day, though. A new survey found Americans are doing this less frequently compared to the last 30 years. All right, some of your guys' guesses. Chris says writing checks, and Dwayne said writing letters. I could see both of those. Send us your guesses over on our Fox Illinois Facebook page. We're going to be right back.
Watch trending Central Illinois news videos now. Subscribe to the Fox Illinois YouTube channel today. Marcella Bayeto, weeknights on Fox Illinois News at 5:30 and 9. You are watching Fox Illinois Live with Marcella Bayeto and Storm Team Weather with Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke.
on Fox, COVID-19 outbreaks are changing in Illinois. We're going to break down where the most infections are right now. Plus, city leaders are working on a solution to last year's dirty tasting water. We're going to tell you how much it's going to cost. Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at some of those headlines we're going to be covering in the next 30 minutes. But before we get to any of that, we've got to check out your weather tonight. Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Limke joining us live from her very warm home right now. Hi, Cheryl.
Hey, Marcella. Well, brace yourselves for another Arctic blast as some of the coldest weather so far this season continues to settle over across central Illinois. At this point, we have fair skies for the capital, clear skies, 12 degrees right now for Springfield, but it feels like it's -3. For most of us, it's no doubt. It's bone-chilling cold out there, no doubt about that. Feels like it's 7 below for Danville and Watsika. One of the colder spots, though, is Bloomington, where it feels like 10 below zero. This is nothing, though, compared to tomorrow morning. By early Wednesday morning, feels like temperatures and wind chills 10 to 15 below zero. That will be dangerously cold. Coming up, we'll let you know how long this Arctic blast will stick around, and we'll let you know if there's going to be a warming trend anytime soon. Your full storm team forecast in just a couple minutes.
Thanks, Cheryl. Capital City Watch tonight. City Water, Light and Power is asking the city for more than $500,000 to buy equipment that they say will solve the smelly and bad tasting water problem that many of us experienced last year. But as our Matt Roy explains, some alder people don't think this new equipment is the right way to go. Matt?
Marcella, CWLP wants to buy water circulation equipment that they say will essentially stir the lake, preventing the kind of algae buildup that caused the nasty water from last August. CWLP Director Doug Brown says these devices would be anchored at the bottom of the lake and would float on top, recirculating the water that's beneath them. But many city council members, including Ward 1 Alderman Chuck Redpath, aren't convinced that these devices are the answer to the problem.
We asked them if this is going to definitely clean up the problem. They said, we're not sure. So I'm concerned about it being an experiment to try to get to that point where we clean up the smell and the taste of the water.
Brown says they can't guarantee that these devices will solve the whole issue, but these are the cheapest option. Redpath and other council members say they need more information about the equipment before making a call. And since the lake is in the ward of Chuck Redpath, he says that they may push to delay the equipment until they're sure that it's the best option. In studio, I'm Matt Roy. Marcella, back to you.
Thanks, Matt. The ordinance was moved to the debate agenda for next week. CWLP says they will also put together a presentation on how the devices work for the meeting. The Fairgrounds Firehouse could soon be relocated. The historic building is one of 2 firehouses on the north end that the city is thinking about moving. And our Jordan Elder is working for you with what that could mean for the state fair and for the people living in that area.
Before Station 10 was Station 10, it was the Old State Fairgrounds Firehouse. And while it is convenient having it just steps away from the fairgrounds, the city says it could be time for a change. As the city looks to move and replace fire stations, Station 4 or 10 will be getting a new home.
We'll take a look at the data and see what supports the change.
Call numbers, response times, and population will play into that decision. Station 4 is one of the busiest in the city, but Station 10...
When you look at the location, it's not ideal with regards to coverage, and it's an older firehouse.
Station 10 is located on the Illinois State Fairgrounds, not actually part of the city itself.
We've had a good relationship with the state. They do get the benefit of us being on their grounds, and we get the benefit of having a firehouse that the city hasn't had to build.
The state pays some money to keep the station staffed, but contract negotiations for the coming years are still going on. The mayor says they already have a plot of land picked for a new CWLP building and a new fire station to replace either 4 or 10.
We're looking at a location off Dirksen Parkway, actually.
But Langfelder says our firefighters will still help with the state fair.
There'd have to be a reciprocal agreement with regards to staffing that, and how would the arrangement would be to pay for that coverage.
Chief Blau says it's an important decision because not only does it impact you, it impacts future generations living in the capital city.
We really do need to look hard and make sure that that is where we can best serve the citizens of Springfield.
We reached out to the Department of Agriculture about this potential change in location, but a spokesperson tells us they have no comment at this time. Reporting in Springfield, I'm Jordan Elder. Back to you.
Thanks, Jordan, for that. The city has also purchased the land in the southwest area of the city that's near Panther Creek for another new fire station. The city council will discuss the budget for this project in the coming weeks. In tonight's coronavirus update, Illinois state health officials reporting more than 13,000 new cases of COVID-19 and 121 new deaths. Sangamon County reporting 373 new cases and 1 new death. Both the state and the county are at 61% fully vaccinated. Now, big changes in where our region is seeing COVID-19 outbreaks. Our Devin Truby joins us now to break down the latest data for us.
When the pandemic first started, bars and restaurants were the hotspot. In September, we reported group homes, community events, and factories were the leading places. Now, the Illinois Department of Public Health is showing for our region, Region 3, correctional facilities are leading the way at 12% that you see in the blue section of the pie. A closer look in just the last 30 days shows the 6 outbreaks at correctional facilities account for almost 50% of what we're seeing. The Illinois Department of Corrections stopped taking inmates from county jails on January 11th due to COVID-19 outbreaks. Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell says currently they have no COVID-19 cases, but he's still concerned.
The more people that are compacted together, the more likely we are to spread it. So every day, we have dozens of correctional officers that come in and out of the facility. We have contractors on occasion, and then we're bringing in new inmates. So the fuller our jail is, the more likely it is we're going to introduce it and then quickly spread it.
Following closely behind correctional facilities for outbreaks is community events and group homes at 11%, just like we saw 3 months ago. Reporting in the studio, I'm Devin Truby. Back to you.
Thanks, Devin, for breaking that down. This data includes all outbreaks since the Phase 4 reopening in July, except for data coming from long-term care facilities. Now, the demand for antiviral COVID-19 medication outweighs the supply. The FDA approving 2 medications last year, one from Pfizer and the other from Merck. But in Sangamon County, those pills are hard to come by. Springfield infectious disease specialist Dr. Donald Graham says the original supply delivered last week is all gone.
So it came to our area, and to one pharmacy, there were 20 patient doses that were given. That supply was used very quickly and has not been replenished.
Dr. Graham says distribution is slow because the pills are so new. The state health department is coordinating deliveries to hospitals and to pharmacies. Memorial Care on Cokie Mill is now offering an antibody treatment to help fight the Omicron variant. That treatment is for patients 12 years and older. Now, you have to have a physician's referral to undergo this treatment. Officials say antibody infusion treatments are beneficial for high-risk groups. That includes those 65 and older, people who are considered medically obese, and those who are immunocompromised. Coming up, Beijing is on lockdown ahead of the Winter Olympics. The measures the government is taking to make sure people don't get sick.
It's cold and dry for now, but some light snow could be headed our way later on this week. Stay tuned. We'll track out our next weather maker. I've got your full storm team forecast coming up in just a few.
American troops could soon be heading to Eastern Europe, but it's not clear if that will be enough to deter Russian troops. I'm Greg Palkot in Kiev. That's my story. Coming up.
Our question of the day, a new survey found Americans are doing this less frequently compared to the past 30 years. Some of your guys' guesses: having family dinners, writing letters, writing checks, and going to the movies. Send us your guesses over on our Fox Illinois Facebook page. We're going to be right back. But as we head to that break, a look at today's closing market numbers. Stay with us.
I'm Gian Jeffcoat. Tomorrow morning on the National Desk, America's News Now. Mothers rising up against everything from unconstitutional mandates and inappropriate sex education. Moms for America will be here. That's tomorrow on the National Desk. America's News Now, weekday mornings.
Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs.
It takes all types to play Family Feud, the family blabbermouth.
Grandma's sick and Grandpa falling asleep in the middle of what?
Going to the bathroom.
See all the types on Family Feud.
Weeknights at 5 on Fox Illinois.
The Big Bang Theory presents Flash of the Bright One.
Isn't that checkmate and I win?
I think this is a good stopping point.
Weeknights at 6 and 6:30 on Fox Illinois.
Welcome back. The Pentagon steps up its preparations to help Ukraine fend off a possible Russian invasion. Now, senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palkot has more from Ukraine.
American weapons and supplies, including anti-tank missiles, arriving here in Ukraine as the military prepares for a possible invasion. Russia has roughly 100,000 troops massed along its western border with Ukraine, and another 30 train loads of Russian soldiers, tanks, and weapons are being deployed in Belarus just to the north. The U.S. responding by putting 8,500 U.S. troops on high alert for rapid deployment to Eastern Europe. Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby telling Fox News all options are on the table.
We still think there's time and space here for diplomacy to work. These NATO response force troops that we're talking about, if it's activated, are not about training. It's about credible combat power.
But those troops would be part of a multinational response force under NATO command. It is not clear if NATO allies would approve a military engagement with Russian forces.
We have no intention of putting American forces or NATO forces in Ukraine. But as I said, there are going to be serious economic consequences if he moves.
And with Russian troops in Crimea to the south, also on high alert, there are fears Ukraine could be lost without a fight.
We have a situation where Ukraine's surrounded. They're surrounded by the Russians right now.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian troops on the front lines are bracing for what many see as an inevitable conflict, while civilians evacuate border towns and cities as tensions escalate.
There is practically no one here because everything is broken. There is light, gas, water, but there is no life.
The State Department says it has, quote, crippling sanctions to go into effect against Moscow if Russian troops cross the border. In Kiev, Greg Palkon, Fox News.
International news now. South Korea says North Korea's test-fired more missiles on Tuesday. Now, South Korean officials there say the North launched 2 suspected cruise missiles in its 5th weapons test this month. The latest launch comes as the North has been increasing its weapons testing. Experts say the tests are likely to put pressure on the U.S. over economic sanctions. Now, people living in Beijing are facing abrupt lockdowns and strict COVID-19 testing requirements. This is as China tries to prevent a coronavirus outbreak before hosting the Winter Olympics in less than 2 weeks. Anyone buying any medication for cold, cough, fever, or other sicknesses have their purchases tracked and have to get tested for COVID-19 within 72 hours. For all of your national news in the morning, come join us for the National Desk. This is every weekday from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. right here on Fox, Illinois. It's a comprehensive coverage of news from around the nation, followed by Fox Illinois Sunrise at 7 a.m. And for your local headlines, you can get that all delivered to your inboxes when you're on the go. Sign up now for that newsletter at foxillinois.com.
Now, your Storm Team weather with Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke.
Good evening, everyone. If you're stepping outside tonight, you'll feel like a human popsicle. It is very, very cold. Currently for the capital, we have clear skies. It's 12 degrees outside. Still some rather breezy winds, and that's making it feel like it's -3. It is bone-chilling cold all across the board as our temperature's been steadily falling off for the day. And right now, single numbers and low teens all across central Illinois. And it's about to get even worse. As our temperatures continue to take that nosedive, look for overnight lows tonight dropping down to about 0 degrees. And then when you factor in the winds, it'll feel a whole lot colder. Tomorrow morning, waking up to temperatures about 2 degrees at 8 o'clock, then slowly trying to warm up into the upper teens and low 20s, but that's still way below average for this time of the year, as the normal high should be about 36. As we were mentioning, though, with the winds factored in, it's going to really feel miserable for tomorrow, and especially bad for the morning hours. We're talking about some dangerously cold wind chills. For most of us, it's going to feel like anywhere from 10 to 15 below 0 for Wednesday morning. This is dangerously cold because it just takes a matter of minutes before we can get frostbite. So please do not be outside for any longer than you have to be outside for tomorrow morning. Even during the afternoon, though, we'll stay miserably cold. And then thankfully, though, by Thursday, warming up a touch, we'll finally get back into the 30s by Thursday. Because it will be so cold, though, overnight tonight through Wednesday morning, wind chill advisories have gone up. It's mainly for areas along and north of Interstate 74, which does include places like Rantoul, Champaign, Watsika, and Danville, all under wind chill advisories through Wednesday morning. Here's our latest live Doppler radar. Pretty quiet right now, but I am tracking a series of weather disturbances. One of these will be working in from the west later on by Thursday, and that could quite possibly give us a little coating of snow. Tonight, though, clear skies all across the region. Looking ahead for Wednesday, look for lots of sunshine, but even with that sunshine, not warming up very much. And then for Thursday, we'll start to see that next weather maker coming in. We'll see increasing cloud cover, and there will be a chance to see some sprinkles, maybe some scattered snow flurries. Not really expecting much in the way of accumulations, though. And then drier skies return for Friday. So our forecast for tonight, some of the most bitter cold temperatures we've seen as we drop to 0. But again, those wind chills approaching 10 to 15 below 0 for Wednesday morning. During the day tomorrow, lots of sunshine, highs only about 21 though. And then looking down the road, maybe warming up into the 30s for Thursday, but then another cold spell comes in for Friday through the upcoming weekend. And also noticing not much in the way of snowfall. In fact, no significant storm system coming our way anytime soon. So overall, a pretty quiet weather pattern continues through next week.
Thanks, Cheryl. Coming up, it was down to the buzzer for the Fighting Illini. Our Alessandro Pomprion will have all the action from the hardwood after the break. And in that question of the day, a new survey found Americans are doing this less frequently compared to the past 30 years. Send us your guesses over on our Fox Illinois Facebook page. We're going to be right back.
Full Measure.
Nowhere is the border crisis worse.
A new season of stories you won't see anywhere else.
Russia on one side, America on the other.
And Puerto Rico.
In the Middle East.
Looking beyond the daily news cycle for stories you can't miss. Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson.
Sunday at 8:30 on Fox Illinois. Now, the Fox Illinois Sports Desk.
Well, good evening. I'm Alessandra Pomprion. Illinois men's basketball dropped 7 spots in the Associated Press top 25 poll to number 24 after consecutive losses last week. Well, coming into tonight's home game, hosting 10th ranked and Big Ten leader Michigan State, the bad news continued as Andre Curbelo did not attend the game because he's in health and safety protocols, and Kofi Coburn did not participate because he's still in concussion protocols. But even though the Illini were without their 2 biggest stars, they still found a way to succeed. Benjamin Bozeman's Verdonk started in place of Kofi Coburn. Michigan State's Marcus Bingham Jr. scoring 3 points for the first points of the game after 2 minutes on the game clock. Bozeman's Verdonk working inside, pivots and cuts inside to go up to the basket for 2. Trent Frazier driving towards the basket for the athletic reverse layup to take the 9-7 lead at the 15-minute mark of the first half, in which the Illini would never lose the lead. Frazier showing his range, shooting the three-pointer on the next play. He would total a game-high 16 points. Tyson Walker passes to Gabe Brown for the transition dunk to trail by 3 points. Then Frazier passes down low to Omar Payne, who kicks it out to Alfonso Plummer from beyond the arc for an 11-point night. Frazier lobbed to Payne for the slam dunk. Illini working around the arc. Luke Goody good from 3. The Illini needed someone to step up off the bench. Goody answered with 9 points and 75% from the field. Illinois wins 56-55 to upset 10th ranked Michigan State. Well, Illinois is back in the winning column thanks to some hard work, but also thanks to a missed Spartans free throw that could have tied the game with only 0.2 seconds left on the game clock. Well, we will have a full game recap on our website, and you can hear post-game reaction tomorrow. Well, also in the NFL, the Chicago Bears have hired Ryan Poles as their general manager. He's the assistant director of player personnel for the Kansas City Chiefs, a team he's been with for the past 13 years. Reporting live in State Farm Center, I'm Alessandra Pomprion.
And it's time now for the Weather Guarantee, sponsored by the Green Family Stores. I was forecasting a high of 18 today. We got up to 21. Another $100 goes towards our featured charity. It's a 1 in a million, a bridge for the community, currently sitting at $1,400. And before we head to the break, here's a live look at your HSHS Tower Cam for this evening. Dry skies tonight, but maybe a little touch of snowfall later this week. Stay tuned. Your 7-day forecast is coming up.
Thanks, Cheryl. Question of the day before we had to break. A new survey found Americans are doing this less frequently compared to the past 30 years. We've got a lot of your guys' guesses coming in right now. We got going to the movies, getting married, writing checks, and having family dinners. Send us your guesses over on our Fox Illinois Facebook page, and make sure to get those answers in, because when we come back, we're revealing the answer. We'll be right back.
Your out-the-door forecast will be brutally cold for Wednesday morning, starting the day with temperatures close to 0. Again, wind chills anywhere from 10 to 15 below 0. It will be dangerously cold, only 21 for the afternoon high for tomorrow. For Thursday, warming up just a touch, though, with some cloudy skies and maybe some stray snow flurries, but then cooling right back down again, though, for Friday.
Thanks, Cheryl. And we're going to reveal that answer to our question of the day right now. A new survey found Americans are doing this less frequently compared to the past 30 years. Let's take a look at that answer. Reading books. I'm surprised. I feel like a lot of people kind of picked that up during the pandemic when we were in quarantine. Coming up tonight at 10, though, a record number of arrests at the U.S.-Mexico border, while officials say hundreds of thousands of people are fleeing. That does it for us. Thanks so much for watching Fox Illinois News at 9. We're going to see you back here tomorrow night.